joined by Marco Forgione, Director General of the Chartered Institute of Export and International Trade. Nice to see you again, Marco.
Morning, Matthew.
I've immediately got people saying I'm scaremongering, and yet what I've just outlined are details from airlines, from medical supplies and such like. So I'm only reporting what I'm reading. Are we sleepwalking into something of a crisis?
Well, Matthew, just to give a sense of some reassurance, if we look at how markets responded and how the oil price responded to the announcements yesterday with regards to the agreements to move very quickly now to fully reopening the Strait of Hormuz, we've seen the oil price drop now by 10%. The US stock market hit all-time highs. So I think there's a growing confidence in the marketplace that we are reaching a conclusion to this. But to your point...
Sorry, if I just may add, whilst the city traders were all enjoying the fall in oil price, those in the shipping industry were detailing how ships were turning back and weren't going through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah. And exactly that. We continue to be in that fog of pre-negotiation, and I think over the next few days we're hopefully going to get a much clearer sense of what the situation is going to be. It seems from the Iran side that they are willing to agree to a full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. There are some other additional issues, obviously, that President Trump is using as leverage. But I think what we have to read into that is that the negotiations are live and are continuing. So we are hopeful that it will come to a conclusion. To your point with regards to what is actually happening now, there aren't shortages. There are concerns that if this continues, there could be problems into the future. The global supply chains, the global supply webs have adjusted to take into the fact that the Strait of Hormuz isn't operational. We've now got access through the Bab el-Mandab, Red Sea, Suez. There haven't been attacks there. So we've got trade routes that are operating. However, to your point, because of the constraints on some of the petrochemical byproducts, particularly around fertilizer, at a key point in the growing season, there could be issues in the future, down later into the year. And untangling all of this, even when we get to the full reopening of the Strait, is going to take months, not days. So there will be issues, I think, particularly around inflationary pressure, and we're seeing that already at the petrol pump and on the shelves. Possible that ghastly occurrence of shrinkflation, but I don't think we need at this point to leap directly to, and there are going to be shortages, because I think that if these can get resolved in the next few days, things can get back to a much more stable condition.
I think it was the Qataris who said that even if oil production was to restart today, and this was in the first week of the war, it would take 3 months for production to reach the levels it was prior to the war. So there are clearly going to be gaps in the supply chain. I mean, I'm really concerned about medicines. One, because I know people with cancer, and when I'm reading about 85% of medicines could be short by June, that is a serious concern. And yet I am really struck and actually genuinely impressed by how much more calmly people seem to be responding to this crisis compared to, say, COVID.
Yes, but the reason is that we aren't seeing those supply shortages. The main product coming through the Strait of Hormuz is the petrochemicals, LNG, liquefied natural gas. What COVID did was shut down the entire global supply system, so that there's a separation between the goods that are being impacted. Now, of course, energy is a key input for the vast majority of products and goods, which creates that inflationary pressure. But we're not seeing that same shortage that occurred as a result of the full shutdown of the global economy that happened with COVID.
Very quickly, Marco, some of the dialogue today from Iran in relation to the blockade is moving quite negatively towards the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. If it is closed again, what then?
Well, to your point, there was, as soon as the announcement were made that it was open, there was a whole raft of flotilla that headed to try and exit, and then paused and stopped and turned back. A handful of ships did get through. Look, the positive side, if we get a resolution and the opening of the Strait, I think we're looking at oil back down over this year, down to maybe $50-60 a barrel, as opposed to where it is currently, which will be a huge boost to the global economy. If, however, we continue with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, then I think we're stuck at petrol well over $120 a barrel, and all that means for the global economy.
Marco Fulcioni, always a pleasure. Thank